Hello everyone. Back again with film recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the thriller action films from 2023, titled Bring Him to Me. Before we get to the storyline, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and great day. Without further ado, let's get straight to the storyline. In a bustling city somewhere in the US, a black Chevrolet car pulls over outside a payday loan shop. Two masked men with guns in their hands emerge and head straight towards the shop, while the getaway driver waits for them anxiously. As soon as they approach the owner, the scene fades to black. The movie then forwards to some days later, and we see the same driver, who is observing his son's picture. A few minutes later, some teenagers jog by the same road, and one of them drops an envelope inside the car. When the driver opens it, he finds a burner phone inside, where he receives the message, "Meet at Yville Auto Repairs." The driver then heads toward the said location, while the radio talks about the incident at the payday loan shop, and it reveals that the police are still looking for the suspects. Seconds later, he receives a call from a woman, who starts giving him orders. She claims that the kid betrayed them, so he will have to bring him over to her. The driver is confused by what she means, so he asks what the kid did, but the woman simply tasks him with escorting him to the specified location. She warns him not to let anyone follow him, and after the call ends, the distressed driver texts her about what she will do with the kid. The driver says he just wants his cut so that he can be on his way, but the woman warns him that if he doesn't show up with the kid, she will give him nothing. Reluctantly, the driver obliges, and soon arrives at the pickup location, and he finally meets the kid, who turns out to be a young father. He has come along with his daughter, and is completely unaware that he is in trouble. He requests the driver to drop his girl home, claiming it is only a few blocks away. The latter is a bit hesitant at first, but after a lot of insisting, he agrees. Along the way, the kid tries to initiate several conversations, but the driver doesn't talk much. Nonetheless, the kid isn't mad or upset, he appears to be a cheerful guy. He believes that they are heading to the location to get their share of the money. Following this, we are taken back to the night of the robbery. The two masked men confront the owner, Frank, and demand that he hand them the money. Surprisingly, he remains unfazed by the situation. He claims that many people have tried to rob him in the past, but all of them have been unsuccessful. He warns them to go away, suggesting that he is a deadly individual. However, this only makes the muscular robber angry, while Frank's son is also held at gunpoint by the shorter robber. All of a sudden, Frank manages to retrieve his pistol, and this ensues a standoff between the two parties. Back in the present, the group has reached the kid's home, and they drop off the little girl. When his wife comes out, she is very angry to see him, berates him for being associated with illegal work, and asks him to go away. The kid promises to make it up to her after he gets his share of the money. Meanwhile, the driver still tries to contact the woman. He wants to know what she'll do with the kid, but she completely ignores his questions. The two hit the road again, and the cheerful kid tries to engage in conversation. He asks the driver if he's been working in this business for a long time, and also wants to know about his family and living place. However, the driver doesn't want to talk about anything other than work. Hours later, it gets dark, and they appear to have reached another city. As the two continue driving, the kid talks about the vehicle, and this finally piques the driver's interest. He reveals that this is a 70s model, which was gifted to him by his father. The kid is astounded to hear this, and the driver warns him to never slam the door when closing it. As the night wears on, the kid continues blabbering alone. Sometimes he talks about his favorite superhero, while other times he mentions his little daughter. The driver is least interested in his conversation, so he doesn't reply to anything. The scene once again flashes back to that fateful night, where the robbers and Frank are at a standoff. When the muscular robber threatens to shoot his son, Frank finally lowers his weapon, but he is still not ready to give up on his money. He refuses to open the safe, but when the muscular robber beats up his son, he reluctantly obliges. The robbers are handed over a large bag full of money, and they proceed to leave. Back in the present, the driver once again asks the woman about what the kid has done, but she just says don't trust him. All this while, the kid talks and talks. He reveals that he wanted to be a fireman, but when he found out how much they made, he decided to do something that would earn him real money. Unfortunately, the driver finds him very annoying, so he asks him to be quiet, and instead turns on the music to keep himself entertained. The kid then brings out his phone and starts scrolling. But this lands him in even more trouble, as the driver angrily throws the phone out of the window, fearing that someone could track them. After a while, they pull over at a gas station to have some drinks. The kid goes inside, while the driver tries to call the woman. A man speaks at the other end and asks them to come fast. The man then finally reveals why they are angry with the kid. It turns out that Frank's son, Sean, had actually been working for them, and he claimed that the money bag had $900,000. But when it arrived, it was $25,000 short. Their boss, Veronica, thinks that the kid stole it, that's why she wants to punish him. Upon hearing all of this, the driver is taken aback, so he requests the man not to kill the kid over 25 grand, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. Inside the store, the kid runs into some unruly boys, who are flirting with the cashier. They are making her feel really uncomfortable. Being the good guy that he is, the kid steps in and defends her, but when he exits the store, the unruly boys come after him. The kid tells the driver to ignore them and get inside the car, but then, the assholes suddenly hurl a drink at the back. Here we see what the driver will do when he gets really mad. He beats both of them to a pulp and wipes his window clean before leaving. Back in the past, the robbers are about to exit the store when Frank starts provoking them. He warns them that he will find them soon, and take revenge for what they have done. Unfortunately, this only enrages the macho robber, and he lashes out at Frank by brutally striking his face. He smashes his face and is about to kill him, but the small robber and Sean intervene. Sean says that this is not what they talked about, and he is devastated at his father's current state. In a fit of rage, he shoots at the thugs outside, and the macho robber is hit on the shoulder, but they manage to get away. Soon, a whole bunch of police cars start chasing them through the streets, and it is revealed that the small robber is none other than the kid. They fight over what happened at the store, and the driver is enraged that they messed up. In the present, as the two continue on to their destination, they are suddenly pulled over by a cop. The cop is aware of the gas station incident and is looking for the culprit. When he interrogates the driver, he notices bloodstains on his shirt, but before he can ask further, the kid initiates a conversation with him. Luckily, turns out the cop and the kid's father were good pals back in the days. The two immediately hit it off, and the cop starts reminiscing about his past days. He then hands the kid his number, asking his dad to call him. After this, he leaves the two alone and departs. Our guys then continue on their journey, and along their way, the kid reveals that his father left many years ago. This is the main reason why he wants to give his daughter a better life. At this point, the driver has started to feel bad for him. Suddenly, their car is followed by a couple of bikers, who start shooting at them.
Why are they trying to kill us? We good in here, right?
The driver also fires back, but he soon runs out of bullets. As a result, he is forced to stop the car, and surrender at a secluded field. The bikers order them to get out of the car, then take off their helmets, and reveal themselves as Sean and Frank. They have been tracking the robbers ever since that fateful night, and have finally found two members. Frank, who still has bruises on his face from that beating, learns that the macho robber who hit him is not there. He demands to know where his money is, and asks the guys who they are working for, but the driver claims that he doesn't know anything. The answer infuriates Frank, and he is about to finish them off, but just then, the driver drops a bombshell. He discloses that Sean was in on the plan, and that's how they got to know what was inside the safe. The revelation shocks Frank, and he demands answers from his son. When the latter fails to come up with a reply, he realizes that they are telling the truth. Frank then proceeds to shoot them to death, but before that, the driver manages to take him down, while our kid bludgeons Sean with a wrench. In the end, the driver manages to shoot Frank with his own gun. Now that the danger is averted, the driver gets inside his car. The kid is still in shock at what just happened, and as soon as he gets in the car, he starts coughing uncontrollably. He also has trouble breathing, and asks for his inhaler. This worries the driver, as he fears he will lose the kid. So, he calms him down and asks him to breathe, until the kid finally comes to his senses. This quick act saves his life, and the driver finds his inhaler outside, which he had dropped during the fight. After this, the driver calls Veronica. He explains that they were ambushed by Frank and his son, so they had to kill them. The driver then requests her to spare the kid, as he handled himself well during the fight. However, the greedy woman asks the driver to bring him to her. She just wants to talk to him, or else the driver will face consequences. Reluctantly, our hero slowly walks toward his car. Back in the past, the runaway group reaches a warehouse, and the driver hands over the cash to the kid. He asks him to take it to Veronica, while he takes care of the vehicle. In the present, the two have grown close. They talk about their children and other things in their lives. They're getting close to their destination, and at one red light, the driver becomes so overwhelmed with guilt that he doesn't want to proceed. He suddenly asks the kid if he has someone in another city, where he can make a fresh start. But then, the macho robber also shows up in his car, and this forces the driver to proceed towards their destination. In the next scene, they finally arrive at Yville Auto Repairs. Veronica's right-hand man greets them, and takes them inside. He gives them a proper frisk, before leading them to her. We are then shown Veronica, who is revealed to be a middle-aged woman. She talks to the kid personally, and praises him. She compliments him on the fact that he was able to take down Sean all by himself. After the chit-chat, she orders her man to pay the driver and the macho robber $75,000 each, while the kid is given $50,000. The three then proceed to depart, but before that, Veronica asks the kid to count his share. He says he trusts her, but she insists that he do it. When the kid counts the money, he finds that there's only $25,000. He asks about it, and Veronica claims that she had already given him an advance. Here it finally dawns on the kid that she's accusing her of stealing money. He desperately tries to claim that he is innocent and wasn't that stupid to steal the money, but her right-hand man begins the onslaught. The driver rushes forward to save the kid, but he is quickly restrained by another henchman. Veronica then brings out her gun, and asks the macho guy to finish off the kid, but when he wants to take her gun, she shoots her in both legs. This is because he caused a ruckus at the shop that night by beating Frank badly and could soon start a war, so Veronica eventually kills him with multiple shots. Up next, she proceeds towards the kid, who is struggling on the floor without his inhaler. The driver begs her to spare him, and the kid also repeatedly says that he cannot die, as he has to take care of his little daughter. But despite this,
then you're fucking dead to me.
The boss pulls the trigger and tragically kills him. In the aftermath, the distraught driver is given his share of the money and allowed to leave. But he knows that they will eventually come for him to tie up loose ends. The driver quickly gets into his car and speeds away, and as he had expected, Veronica's right-hand man starts following him. A high-speed car chase then ensues amidst the pouring rain, with our hero managing to just stay ahead. Of course, the right-hand man is unable to match the expert driver's speed, as the driver skillfully moves through the highway. After a while of driving, he arrives at an abandoned place, where he stops his car, and breaks down in tears. In a flashback, we see some goons beating him up, as he owed them money. They threatened to hurt his family if he didn't deliver in the coming weeks, and this compelled the driver to start working for Veronica and her illegal organization. We are then taken to the night of the robbery. After the others had departed, the driver found some bundles of cash in his trunk, which had fallen out of the briefcase. This is the same $25,000 that was missing. Since he was in desperate need of money, he kept it without thinking of the consequences. Back in the present, the driver is crying profusely, as he is overwhelmed by guilt. Suddenly, the right-hand man arrives in his truck, and slams the car from behind. This knocks our hero out. The man believes that he has killed the driver, so he doesn't shoot him. He instead calls Veronica, and says that the job is done. But when the man is retrieving the money, the driver then grabs the phone and talks to Veronica. The latter shockingly reveals that she was aware he stole the money. When he asks why she still killed the kid, she claims that she didn't, but he did. Had he confessed to the crime, she would have spared him. Now, the kid's blood is in his hands. Veronica then asserts that she will catch him before the sun rises, and the driver threatens to expose her activities to everyone, so she better catch him soon. After the call ends, he decides to do what's right. He brings out the cop's number which was given to the kid earlier. He makes a call and reveals that the kid is dead. The cop is shocked by the information and tries to know more, but the driver simply gives him a location before hanging up. After destroying the phone, he loads the money in the henchman's truck. The driver then heads to the kid's house to leave the money, and also makes sure to carry the little girl's toy, which she had dropped earlier. We hear the little daughter ask if daddy is home, and by the time the wife walks out, the driver has already taken off. The movie ends as the driver spots someone suspicious nearby him, so he grabs his gun and waits for trouble to come. Okay guys, that's all the recap of Bring Him to Me 2023. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.